how to get into the best shape of your life and stay there. Hey team, and welcome to this week's episode of The Inspired Show, the show that is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself, mentally as well as physically. Before we dive into this week's episode, if you've not done so already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It means you stay up to date with every single episode that we launch on a weekly basis. Give this a big like if you enjoy it. And don't forget to share it with somebody that may benefit from today's episode as well. And any big takeaways or questions you may have, let us know in the comments. And don't forget, all our social media handles are down below where we post content every single day, plus a link to our exclusive community as well, where we have a 7-day free trial. So in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about getting to the best shape of your life and staying there forever. Now, in order to do that, we need to do something very, very specific, and we're going to run through reasons why we need to do that and how it's going to benefit you. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make when it comes to changing how they look, how they feel, and ultimately changing their life is they go in 100 miles an hour. They try and eat really well, they try and train, they get the steps in, the hydration, they stop the alcohol, they stop the takeaways, they stop the chocolate, they stop the crisps, and it works okay for about a week or so, and then it becomes very overwhelming, too much to keep up, and it falls by the wayside for most people. This is where the all or nothing approach doesn't really work in the long run for a lot of people. It's too overwhelming, it's too stressful, and when we get stressed, guess what happens? We revert back to old habits and coping mechanisms, which doesn't end well for a lot of us. So what do we need to actually start doing? Well, if you've been the type of person that's always trying and failing, there's no point doing the same thing over and over again. That is insanity. So what we need to actually do is take a different approach. And before we take this different approach, we need to understand that this approach is going to take a little bit of time. Whilst going all in on your goals will get you to your goals faster, it's good for nothing if you can't sustain it. So we need to actually understand that going all in, trying to change everything at once, is actually the way to fail time and time again. And that's going to take you a lot longer to reach your goals than if you take this much slower approach. So what does this slower approach involve? Well, it involves building up behaviors, building up habits so you can create real lifestyle change. Just as you wake up every single day and you brush your teeth. You do that because you've programmed it into your behaviors. You've done this since you were a small child, day in, day out. Now, the goal of brushing your teeth is to ensure that your teeth stay clean. But in order for you to achieve that, you built up the behavior of brushing your teeth to enable you to do that. So the same thing goes to changing your life. We need to start looking at the things that we need to start doing more of, start doing less of, and you might have some good behaviors that you have already that we need to maintain. So it all starts off with looking at the future version of you. What does that future version of you that is happy, healthy, confident, what do they look like? What traits do they have? And then reverse engineer to get there. So what are their behaviors? What are they doing on a day-by-day basis to help them achieve that end product? What have they stopped doing to enable them to achieve that end product? And what did they maintain and build momentum in to achieve that end product? And what I want you to do is get yourself a pen and a paper, and I want you to draw a line right down the middle. On one side, I want you to write down all the behaviors that you need to start doing that are going to allow you to become that best version of yourself. I want you to do the same on the behaviors that you need to stop doing that is hindering you from becoming that best version of yourself. And then on the third column, you want to carry on the behaviors that you're currently doing. So what does that look like in a few examples? So let's look at the things that you need to start doing more of, okay? You might say to yourself, I need to start eating more nutrient-dense foods on a regular basis. You might write down that I need to get to bed at a reasonable time to ensure I have a good night's sleep. You might write down that I need to do some self-care a few times a week to manage my stresses. You might write down I need to hydrate a little bit more. It might be to pick up an activity like going to the gym, cycling, running, swimming, Zumba, whatever it may be. It could be planning and preparation. It could be building better boundaries. Just make a list of all the things that you need to start working on. Then in the middle, look at the things that you need to stop doing, okay? Do you need to stop spending so much time on social media, scrolling mindlessly? Do you need to stop saying yes to everything and everyone? Do you need to stop using alcohol or food as a way to deal with your stresses? Just write them all down, the things that you need to stop doing right now. And then look at the things in your life that you're doing really well at the moment, okay? And write down things that you need to keep momentum going to ensure you don't become complacent. Now, what you've then got is you've got 3 different columns. Now, this is where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people try and do all the first column, remove all the second column, and then try and maintain what they're currently doing. And that's where the overwhelm begins. So what I actually want you to do is I want you to pick one thing from the first column of things that I need to start doing. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to make it as manageable as possible, is actually rate all the things that you've written down on a scale of 1 to 10 with how easy it's going to be to implement, with 1 being very, very difficult and 10 being very, very easy. So you might look at that list and you might look at hydration, and you might put that at 10 out of 10. You're going to find that really, really easy. So your main focus for the first week of your journey is to simply drink more water. So you might set yourself a target of drinking a minimum of 2 liters a day. And it doesn't matter what else you do in your lifestyle, in terms of food, movement, whatever it may be, that is not your main focus. Your main focus is that hydration, okay? And you focus on that for a week. You then look at the second column and say, right, what's one thing that I need to stop doing? And again, rate them all on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very, very difficult to break and 10 being very easy to break. So you might have, number 1 might be something like smoking, okay? You might find that really, really difficult. So you probably wouldn't start on that initially, but you might say that you're going to bed really late at the moment and you could probably manage a 10 out of 10, get into bed 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. And then what you do is you focus on those 2 things for the next 7 days. After 7 days, you actually rate how you got on with that. Like with your hydration, did you do that 7 out of 7? If it's a yes, awesome, big thumbs up. Look at the one you tried to reduce, like going to bed 30 minutes early. Did you do that 7 times out of 7? Big thumbs up, yes. So if you got a 7 out of 7 and you did it every single day, then pick something else off the list to work on alongside the 2 that you've just done as well. And you move those 2 into the list of things you need to keep doing. Now, there's going to come a time where you pick a goal or a habit that you want to improve and one you need to break down, and it's not going to be a 7 out of 7. So let's say, for example, on week number 2, you decide you're going to have a piece of fruit and veg every single day as the habit you want to introduce. And then for the one you want to stop, you want to set yourself a target of stopping going on social media after 8 o'clock at night. So maybe with the fruit and veg, you do it 4 times out of 7. With the social media, you do it 3 times out of 7. So we know that's not quite been ingrained as of yet. So again, the following week you work on those targets and you look for improvement. You look to do at least 1 more day more than you did the previous week. And what we're doing there is we're building up improvement and we're letting go of perfection. Okay, because what we're looking at is building up consistency, being 1% better each and every day, rather than perfection and the all-nothing approach. Now, like I said, this might seem like a little bit longer way to get to your goals, but you know the all-nothing approach doesn't work for you. You've tried that again and again and again, and it's always ended in failure. So actually taking this slower approach, where you look at your habits, your behaviors, things you need to do more of, things you need to reduce, is going to start building up that person, that better version of yourself. Just as you wake up every single day and brush your teeth, you're going to start building habits that are going to serve you and break down habits that aren't serving you right now, so you become happy, healthy, more confident, ultimately the best version of yourself. Now, if you thought this was a different way of looking at things and insightful, let me know in the comments, smash a like to it, and don't forget to share it with somebody that's going to benefit as well.